Right, so here's something you don't get to do every day. I get to drive a Mark 1 Golf GTI. That is in fact a spare key. Remember they used to give you two keys? One would it's cold. Just gotta kind of do that warm-up thing. There's like nothing in here. There's no aircon. Open the window. It's kind of warm in Cape Town today. It's still got the golf ball gear stick. First gear, clutch is heavy. Let's get on the accelerator. There we go. This is such a cool little car. There's no power steering. Holy cow, this is, oh, the clutch is so heavy. The steering is so heavy. Man, you don't realize what's in these new cars. Suspension over a speed bump. Not too bad, actually. It's interesting. So the turning circle is quite wide. Coming out of there in the Golf 8s that I've been driving, the the power steering and the assists, it's all kind of dynamic. So the slower you're going, the more you have to the slower you're going, the less you kind of have to turn the steering wheel to kind of get into places. This is, you turn it the same at speed or at going slowly. Not too bad. Oh, the clutch, holy cow, the clutch. You forget how heavy these clutches were. Oh, the sound of that little engine. This is such a good little drive. Holy cow. It's a bright red color as well, which absolutely gorgeous. Of course, completely naturally aspirated. The power is kind of similar to I had a 1.8 Fox. The power in this thing is similar to what I remember there. 5-speed gearbox. The ride is firm. The whole car kind of rattles when you hit a bit of a bump or go through a dip. Man, this is such a cool little car. Holy cow. There's so many memories in this car. Oh my word. It feels like I'm going so fast and I just hit 60. Oh wow. So quite a lot of play on the steering wheel. So I remember, in fact, I think my Fox's steering wheel, after some wheel alignment or something we did, Fox's steering wheel was kind of always at a bit of an angle. The brakes are really soft. It's weird, eh? You get used to driving modern cars, and because I drive a lot of cars, any kind of new performance car, one of the things that is very obvious to me is how sharp and how good the brakes are. So even the Golf 8s that we drove yesterday, the brakes are on the money. Eh? You step on them and that car just kind of doesn't lock up, but it just slows down so rapidly. And in this thing, I'm aware of the fact that the brakes are they're a bit spongy. Again, I remember that in my Fox. Oh, on the circle, we can do it. Woo! Oh man, this car's a jewel. This car is such a jewel. I want one of these so bad. It looks so good on the outside too, man. Oh, this little steering wheel. Okay, let's close the window because we're gonna get on the highway now. This is such a lacquer little car. It's in amazing condition. So this apparently is Volkswagen's sort of museum car, factory car. And it is, for all intents and purposes, it is in absolutely perfect condition. I actually can't see anything that's bust or broken or... This is a really cute little car. Such an honest car. So simple in its... the indicators are literally just two stalks. One is for the indicator and one is for the wipers. There's no settings and sensors. And modern cars have become so convoluted on the stalks, and this is so honest. You can indicate or you can turn on the wipers. That's all there is. The steering gets you, eh? Like you don't. I don't. It's been a while since I've driven something without power steering, and this steering is properly heavy. Not unbearable. I mean, it's not like it's horrible, but you do drive a car like this, and you begin to really appreciate what it's like to have a car with power steering. The mirrors are like tiny. They sit right up against you here. Like modern cars, they've moved them back. They've made them bigger. They bend the glass out. Now, if I recall correctly, at about 100, 110, this car becomes at 100. It's like noisy, like everything's rattling. You can hear the air. You can hear the engine. I'm in fifth gear. It feels like it needs another gear. We're sitting at 3,000 RPM. It's amazing to me how far cars have come. I mean, this is a 1982 model, and so we're talking the better part of nearly 40 years now. But it's just amazing to me, like the progress cars have made in 40 years. It's like it's gobsmacking. Driving the Golf 8 yesterday, the GTI, and taking it over some incredible mountain passes, and just the handling, the dynamics, the engine, the sound, the comfort, like the tech that's been built in there. Like it's astronomical to see that this is where it started. Like this was such a basic car. It is basically just a good little engine on a firm suspension, in a little, basically a square shell. And like they got some dials in the front. There's an indicator. There's some wipers. There's a big steering wheel. There's nothing fancy here. There's absolutely nothing fancy. This is just an honest driver's car. Keeping it at about 100. I don't want to go much faster. It doesn't feel like it wants to go much faster. Quite a lot of sort of steering vibration that comes through the steering wheel, and just kind of reminds you how like simple this suspension is. I mean, at the time it was quite complex, and it was actually revolutionary for the performance that this car delivered. But we've come so far in terms of dampening shocks and all kinds of weird things that make modern cars so bearable to drive. This thing is, like, the steering is hard, and the clutch is heavy, and the brake is soft, and I absolutely love every little bit of this car. Window winders here, open the window, got these like adjuster goodies to adjust the mirrors. This is a once in a lifetime. There's an ashtray, there's a cigarette lighter. No radio in this one, which is fine. It makes sense. You've got your aircon, your hazards, your lights on the side here. This is a really, really cute little car. The home stretch, the last 500 meters in what I suspect might actually be my only drive ever in a Golf GTI Mark 1. My first and probably only. This is such a good little engine. It really, 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 really is such a good little engine. I can totally understand how and why this Golf 1 was as popular. You know, like cars in the late 80s, in the late 70s, and the early 80s were they were like not performance orientated. They were a little bit rough to drive. So like you could get into one of these and you could have some real fun in it. Gear changes were good, the clutch was good, was fun to drive. For the time, it cornered like nobody's business. Not like blinding acceleration or anything, but just like this is a fun car to drive. This is like a lot of fun. It's fun today. It must have been an absolute hoot in the 80s when, you know, like your competition was the big family cars that were heavy and clunky and slow, and like this is just light and nimble and fun and good looking, and this is like everything a petrol head in the 80s could want. I have thoroughly enjoyed my little drive this Golf 1 GTI. It's been amazing. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments whether like you're keen on seeing more older cars, classics, versus seeing all the new stuff. And yeah, I can make a few more.